out of the house?
My wife let me actually, she was happy to see me leave town. So it's one of those things, after being home for 16 months, it's like, yeah, just go anywhere. I don't care. Anyway,
Yeah.
what we're going to do today is I'm with Dave Maloney. We're going to go through his factory.
Wow.
Just give you a rundown on kind of the things that he does here. This is a new facility, far different than his previous facility. It actually has room to grow, where the other one was pretty much out of room completely. So we'll see what that goes on, but we'll start in a couple of minutes. How are you doing? You staying out of trouble?
Yeah, pretty much. So I've been out. I'm vaccinated now, so I've been out of the house,
Great.
having one dinner, on a restaurant, and I'm gonna have another one this Saturday. Believe it or not, my daughter is turning 40.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Mine's a little older than that.
Yeah, that's the young daughter. That's actually mine by myself. I have a couple other kids that I've been like a father to. That's a little older, but
no, one was enough for me. Thanks very much. So I know you raise dogs, don't you?
Yep, easier, much easier.
My daughter flew in last week to pick up her new puppy. We had to drive for 3.5 hours to Wyoming to pick it up. Then she spent a couple of days with my wife. Fortunately, I was only there for one day, the day to drive her and get back, and I left the next morning.
Okay.
Love puppies, not what puppies do when they're young.
That's the name.
I know.
Q and P.
Puppies are puppies, that's
Yeah.
weird. They're always a lot of fun, as long as it's kind of like having, I guess, grandchildren. They're fun until you can walk away from them. If you don't get to walk away, not as much fun. In any event, if you guys have any questions for Dave as we go along, that'd be great. If not, we'll just walk our way through and talk our way through. I'm gonna set this up on my phone and get away from my computer because the noise that it makes is ridiculous. All right. And there we go. All right. Let me flip this around. There we go. All right. Dave, you want to say anything while we're doing this?
Sure. This is our new facility. We moved in approximately a year ago. It was still work in progress here. You still get your echo.
I know. We'll get away from that. All right. So this is the embroidery area.
Wow, that's big.
Now we don't have an echo because we can't hear it. So it must be all right.
We're on our lunch break right now. So
all right.
So operation, few machines, and then we also do a small DTG operation and then some custom sewing. Do just sewing on woven labels, patches on hats, things like that.
Damn, I needed to fix a pair of pants for me. How many heads of embroidery do you have here?
About 26.
26 heads of embroidery. All right. Perfect.
Our main floor for sales and marketing, things like that, is just open format. Again, still work in progress. It's not all fully put together, but
right.
We're up and running out here.
Anyway. Oh, we'll get this shot.
Staging area for embroidery, and then we'll go out for receiving for our main screen for an operation. Short lunch break.
Just in time for the UPS truck.
All for receiving. Everything gets shot in here via freight, using UPS, FedEx, and whatever else is going in. It all gets stacked in. When everyone gets back from lunch, then they're ready to start unpacking and staging orders.
All right.
This is Joe. What up?
Joe, how are you?
Everybody comes in, goes over to the computer. They, unpack, grab their work orders, and stage it. Then it starts the production flow.
I'm not sure if we got all of that. I had my sound way down. If you missed the first part, we'll be going back through it again anyway.
And we're shooting out.
So there's more staging for screen print.
And then we go into our production department. All our
You want to go
files.
through this first?
Sure. What do you want to do?
No, let's go into production and then we'll work our way back. So you have 4 automatics and 3 manuals.
Correct.
And
This is where the magic happens.
so this is Dennis. He's the guy who organizes it.
There's Stinky Tom, our head manual printer,
All right.
veteran.
Perfect.
He's not here. So one of our head automatic printers. We'll be back.
Has flown the coop. We'll find him on the way down.
We do all water-based printing on this back press, so we keep it all process all done. Water-based on one machine to keep it organized.
Right. So this is the one that you're doing all plastisol on?
This is all water-based.
All water-based. All right. Okay, got it.
Stage a lot of our stuff in the center here for all of our presses as they come together, and production managers send them out to one machine.
Right.
After they come up through the hall and around the back.
And you got your other manual presses working here.
Under 100 pieces or so will be done by hand.
Okay.
It's a lot of
Doesn't matter how many colors.
Doesn't matter.
Right. Well, I know you've got a couple of 6s and an 8. What's the size of the automatics that you have?
We have 2 8s, a 10, and a 12.
Okay.
And then look at the stand right in the place we're standing. This machine could grow out to the center once we're ready for it.
You're not going to put anything right here? Or you're thinking of it?
This will move over.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on to some of the other areas.
Charlie, you lost the video.
Okay, I'm going to try and get back on right now. All right, we're back on. That was me. I hit the wrong part.
Yeah, so everything that's finished is going through these doors here to get reclaimed or ink put back in its place.
Okay. So this is your reclaim area. I love the way they did your ink area. I think this is really what companies should be doing. Everything is labeled, everything is forward. Gallons, quarts, but everything is labeled forward. All cans are cleaned off, looking great. So that's all the inventory based on PMS colors. These are all set up for jobs, and these are the screens that they're going to go to. We'll go back and we'll work our way.
Yeah, sure.
More staging areas on jobs that are coming in. You got your reclaimed tanks and chemicals. So this is screen storage area, automatic coder.
Yeah, looks like we're calling water base.
Yeah, so this is all water-based today. So,
What's up? How you been? Good. Good. How are you? Actually, burn your bro. Oh yeah.
double coat.
All right, we're gonna run over here. He's gonna burn a DTS. If you want to see.
All right. A double coat and then it goes to dry. Working with a DTS and image from M&R. And yours exposes in the back,
Yeah.
right? So after it's imaged, it'll be exposed inside the unit rather than having to go external. And there are times they'll use both front and back of the screen if it's a small image, or they'll just use one side of the screen. All right, it's going into the back to be exposed. All right. And their screens do have all the information on them, registration marks, calibration bar, etc. So that they know that everything is being done correctly when it's washed out. Automatic washout. Take it, hit the button. So this is the pre-soak to get the emulsion to soften up a bit. They generally don't do one screen at a time. It's usually 4 screens at a time. They're just doing it so that I can show this. So it'll make 2 passes and everything should be washed out at the end of the second pass. You can see a lot of it already falling away. This water gets recirculated, doesn't it? Yeah, so even the amount of water used is really minimal, even though it looks like there's a huge amount of it. But it's all internal and recirculated and filtered. So it's pretty well done.
Some banding on it, is that the, oh, that's the.
Yeah. All right. Everything is controlled on computer. When it's all done, comes out, gets dried, and ready for use, gets taped up in this area. So these are all screens that are ready for the next couple of jobs. And we'll work our way back to front office. I think what I'm going to do is shut down my phone.
Okay.
So that we, I'll just take some images from back here. So you have the art department, etc. The showroom area, which includes a retail store. That's what's up front here. Sales and other offices. And we're going to work our way back there, but I'm going to shut this down so that we don't drive ourselves crazy with all the feedback. All right. This off. So now we can actually hear each other.
Cool.
So give me a rundown on when you started and how you started and what your goals are.
Gotcha. Started out, I went to college for psychology. Then got out, was doing a job in that field for about 5 years. Was getting sick of it. I always screen printed as a hobby. My basement from bands when I was everybody's story. Started in a band, needed some patches and shirts. Figure out how to do it yourself. And my wife got pregnant, and when I was
happened all of a sudden, huh?
and I had some like leave saved up. So when I took time off, when my daughter was born, I just started screen printing in my basement, in my parents' house, and I just snowballed from there. By the time it was time to go back, I was making more money screen printing than I was with my career job from college. So I just kept going with it, and everything's history from there.
Nice. And that was in what year? 90?
That was in 2003
or something?
Yeah, 2003 is when I graduated. Then I worked for a little while. I was still screen printing on the side, and then full on got into it around 2010 or so, 2010, 11, something like that. Started my own like facility.
Yeah, I understand the whole thing about rock and roll. I started out as a bootleg rock and roll printer.
Yeah.
The difference was you started in the basement. I started in 15,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Just because I was probably too stupid to start small.
Hey,
but
let it rip.
Anyway, that's where we are. Anyone have any questions, any comments? I know we've got John on, and we have either Steve or Linda or both of you on, but I can't see you because you're blacked out.
Yeah, I can stop then. It's a totally new shop, is it? It's not been used. There's only new cans of paint and never been used and touched, because it's so clean.
Yeah, that's the goal.
It's supposed to be. You know, you get so used to seeing screen printers. Oh, from Ohio Pile.
Yeah.
You know, you get so used to seeing screen print shops that are really disgusting to go into. I mean, you walk into them and you've got ink on your shoes, you brush up against something, you get ink on your pants or on your shirt. And it's ridiculous to do that because then you spend more time cleaning than you do printing. And trying to find ink and grab a can without getting your hands full of ink is impossible at some shops. And so here, when you, and your old shop was like that, it was,
Yeah, it was just
the
hard
ink
to
area
maintain.
was
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah, that's why we built that corral, so nothing goes in or out unless it's clean.
Which is the way it should be now. And that's why it looks so clean the way it is, because that was part of the stipulation of coming here and working here is got to keep it straight and got to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Labels in the front, cans clean. Everything is based on Pantone colors. So it follows, so finding a can of ink is no big deal. I think it's great. I mean, I think it's really one of the best looking places that I've worked with in terms of the ink department, certainly. And even the production floor, the floors are clean, you know, they shine as they should. They've eliminated using spray adhesive other than for sweatshirts because no choice there, but they're on liquid adhesive, although we're going to try out some of the dual tack from PMI, see if that'll do the same thing and avoid the application side.
Sure. Yeah, we're having trouble trying to find a good solution for liquid tack that works on all the new tech materials and blends and things like that, especially if we're flashing.
Yep.
Yeah.
We find that the old school spray works best, but then it just makes the shop a mess. So we try to limit it to like one machine that is doing that specialty material. So then they're just cleaning that down at the end of the day or end of the week, depending on how busy we are.
Go ahead, Ghost.
I saw a glimpse of DTG equipment as well. Is it for
just one?
Yeah, sample?
Yeah, samples are if like we're getting ready for like to open like our storefront. So if somebody wants to just come in, we could offer them, you know, 1 piece to 50 pieces based on that. We could run them in there if you know, it fits that purpose.
No. Yeah.
And you're also looking at putting in a potential training facility here.
Yeah. So the storefront itself is a little too big for us right now. So we're gonna set up a training facility. So we'll have an auto and a manual and a dryer in a, you know, in a storefront setting where we can come in, do seminars, do some training for our own people, things like that. Or overflow. If we have a rush, we need to get out, we could just jump up front and, you know, run it on like an auxiliary setup over here.
That'd be great.
And
I think that's a great idea.
I have a question for you for the DTG, the dryer. Do you use the dryer for that? Do you use the same dryer as you use for the ordinary printing?
Well, you can, but since we're limited in space where we're at now, we're just using a standard heat press to cure the ink.
Okay.
You can, I've been checking with companies like Vastex, and if you're using, again, depends on whose direct-to-garment machine. If you're using a Cornette, which is the wettest of all of them because it's an internal pre-treat, in their dryer, it takes 8 minutes in the heat chamber to get it to evaporate and set. If you have a, whose machine are you working with, Brother? Or,
oh yeah, Brother GTX.
So Brother would be considerably faster, probably still in the 4 or 5 minute range, which wouldn't be unusual at all. Different type of hand when it comes out. If you're using a trans machine, it's smoother and flatter. If you're using a dryer, it's going to come out feeling closer to what a screen print is like. But they're very obviously different. As soon as you can put one next to the other, you can see the difference.
No.
You're looking at getting into DTG, aren't you?
Yeah, we already have. So
You.
we tried my daughter started with it, and I'm helping her out, and now she moved her equipment to us. So because I learned the other parts, you know, with you and with Scott's Fraser, you know, with his tours about color and that stuff. So we moved her equipment here, and it's a TextJet, a small one, but it's still based on Epson. So that's why we started with it, and if we're gonna expand on it, so I would like to, you know, learn all the things. Now we use a heat press to cure it with. And the next step is a pre-treat machine, because the way she does it, it's way too messy.
There are, I don't know about in Sweden, I know in the US, there are some garments that are now being sold as a pre-treated garment.
Yeah.
If they're good, bad, or otherwise.
Expensive.
Are they?
The ridiculously expensive. And when they come here, they have that cardboard feeling on the pre-treats. So
yeah.
No, we skipped that step.
Okay. Have you tried any of those?
For now.
Yeah, I just know about them. I haven't played with any of them because I don't really get much into DTG, but some things sound good until you actually have to use it. And at that point, you find out very quickly whether it's really something that's worthwhile for you or not. Anyway, I know today's kind of a short day, but I don't know if anyone else is going to be joining us, but it seems to me at this point, probably where we are is where we're going to be. So if no one else has any questions, I think we're just going to shut it down. I'll be doing the next one in 2 weeks with Simon from Techmar. So if you need to stick to anything, you can call Simon. In any event, let's see. Any options on Techmar? Okay, so I like Techmar's product. I think they do a really good job, but question I would have is, have you ever played with the PMI dual tack or high tack, which goes on like pallet peel, except when you peel the top layer, the cover sheet off, it's already got adhesive on it. Cost is about the same as pallet peel. Works very much like liquid adhesive, except that it's already there. When it gets full of lint, you spray it with water. You use a sponge gently over the top to get off the lint, and you're back in business. The dual tack is for cotton and polycotton. The high tack is for polyester, and unfortunately for sweatshirts, it's the old spray again. Did that answer your question at all? Yeah, if you shoot me an email, there you go. Well, that question's for you.
Oh.
Floor looks great. What did you do to use, and how old are they?
When we moved into our facility, they were a mess from a garage that was in here, so we diamond grinded them and then used a epoxy with a sealer on it. They're less than a year old, but they clean up super easy. So you can just dump. We use like a citrus cleaner, and the guys out on the press just clean up for 15 minutes after their shifts, and everything just wipes right up. It's the way to go. We don't even use cardboard that much. And they, as far as the Techmar product goes, we did try. They make one that's meant for sweatshirts and poly, but we didn't seem to get what we needed out of it either. But we're still testing it now.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone who has a product other than spray adhesive that seems to work on sweatshirts. Even polyester shirts, or excuse me, performance wear shirts are difficult to hold down. And that's where PMI came out with their high tack, which is supposed to be 10 times stronger than their standard dual tack. Problem with the high tack, not really a problem, but the thing with it is, if you put it on and it's fresh and you put a cotton shirt on, you're going to be fighting to get it off. As far as polyester shirts, the little I played with it seemed to work, but I don't do production runs, so it's kind of difficult to really see what would happen on an automatic or even a manual if you're doing a decent size run. The dual tack I played with quite a lot. As a matter of fact, I'll be at the ISS show doing a workshop starting tomorrow, and that's what we're going to be using on the press. Contact me. I'll get a sample sent out to you if you need.
Even if you're getting into like a water-based tack as well, we've tried diluting it for different percentages for different materials as well. So if we're putting in 10% of water and mixing it so we don't distort the image while trying to rip it off the pallet, that seemed to help. But there's always a fine balance on keeping track of what materials it works on. As more materials come into the market, it's harder to keep a, balance on that since there's so many variables. So we're trying to find something that's just right in between, where there's no math to be done on each and every garment and so forth. So hopefully someday.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you go from cotton, that's never a problem. Then you go to poly cotton. Some of them are great, some of them are not, because some of them have the cotton on top and the poly on the bottom.
Yeah.
And so even though you're on a 50-50 or something in that range, you realize it's just not holding, and you got to handle it as though it was 100 poly.
Yeah. And as you grow with like more employees, it's hard to get everyone on the same page, knowing how much to dilute or how much to mix in. So we're trying to get a standard where the production manager knows what product to drop at what machine with what garments are being printed that day.
Okay. So I have a question. Obviously in the US, all of the distributors now seem to be on an allotment with ink. In Sweden, I don't think you would have that answer right now, but are you guys running into that same issue as far as getting a hold of ink? I mean, I know I'm doing a workshop, and one of the colors that they pretty much told me to forget about unless somebody else has it is yellow. And, of course, white ink is always the most popular, and even that's becoming difficult. Now you have companies like NASDAR and some of the others that have put you on allotment because the ink companies have put them on an allotment. So
I haven't heard anything about ink problems, and just now we've been talking about some of the garments that's not available, but or at least there's long delivery times on them, but otherwise we're not so many people here in Sweden, so we can
work around.
Probably have a lot of stuff still stuck.
I know
a lot of companies went belly up though to this pandemic, because they were running on the edge. There were too many screen printing facilities that were fighting already. So I'm gonna come back to Charlotte, because we need to find some good ones that we can work together with. When I have a couple of new customers that's probably, if they kick off, they're gonna be way out of our league. So we need to work together with a good screen printer.
Costa, it's time for you to just put it into your facility and become a screen printer.
Yeah.
Whatever hair you have left on your head, you can lose very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know that many shops in Sweden, but there are some very good ones. But I don't know who survived the pandemic and who didn't. But even with garments here, it's a roll of the dice. You call up a supplier and they may or may not have some of it or all of it. Getting all of it is almost impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
You may have to go to several suppliers. Hats, somebody wants a specific hat. It's kind of like, nope, this is what we have, take it or leave it. Just because Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, which is where a lot of them are made, they've been shut down. You had the whole Suez Canal situation where a lot of the raw materials were just locked up and couldn't come out. And so between that and the pandemic, between goods and between ink and stuff, it's brutal right now. And there are definitely going to be companies that go bankrupt just because they can't produce.
Yeah.
This is where a gallon of ink is worth more than an ounce of gold. Although I think I would trade, but that's besides the point.
So, Charlie, did you bring your invention?
I tested it out, and I know that Action Engineering has gotten several orders on it. I need to go back to the shop for the wall. So I invented this thing called the wall.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, yeah.
And so a couple of companies have now used it. Seems to be doing well. I need to pick up the one that I have and kind of move it around to some of the companies I'm also familiar with besides them to see what kind of feedback I get. Should send one here.
Yeah, I'll try it out. water base all day on that one machine, so.
It's specifically for water base. I mean, you'll only have it for one head, but you can adjust it so that based on the width of your squeegee, you can adjust it in so that you have just fractional amount.
Gotcha.
With the company I was working with, they have a rock machine. And when they put their wing flood bars on, it was too wide. So they went squeegee, which worked just as well. Wow. I don't, and you know, it comes down to what the width of your squeegee is and your flood bar.
Yeah.
And it may not be able to fit with a wing flood bar.
Well, would you even need the wing if you just had the wall?
No, you don't need it at all. That's the whole point. You know, even having squeegees on front and back, they never had really any leakage. The amount of ink that was built up on the side was less than 1/4 of an inch, and it constantly recirculated in. So, and even front and back, they didn't have an accumulation. So it saved them from having to have somebody there to constantly go and move the ink back into the image area. So I'll get one down to you.
All right, we'll try it out.
But it seems to be doing well. The problem that we've run into is they have to retool it a bit to be able to handle Newman roller frames. So right now it's great on any kind of square bar, but as far as a roller frame, not yet. Dave's beard does look a little gray now than it did when we moved in here. You think? I don't understand that. When I met him, his hair was black. So yeah, you know, welcome to the world of screen print. This used to be brown at one time or whatever. And there used to be something up here. I remember as a kid being told, oh, you'll never go bald. Yeah, I'm sure that was a fantasy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, well, it's part of growing old, which is not the worst thing in the world. The alternative is to not grow old, which is really a bad alternative.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, in any event, I think we're going to wrap it up for today.
Nice meeting you.
It was nice seeing you again. Look forward to seeing you hopefully in about 2 weeks or so. And I'll do some checking around with some of the European companies that I know on screen printers that can handle. I have a company in Denmark.
Okay.
I worked with him back when he was actually running production in Norway, and we're probably going back 30 some odd years now. His name is Nils, and he does produce his own garments as well. So I'll pull that information for you.
Yeah, that's good.
And
good.
I've got a company in Poland as well. I don't know if that's getting too far out. Of course, the cost of doing business in Poland is a lot less than in Denmark. So if you'd like, I can certainly put you in touch with them as well. And they do everything
cool.
from direct printing to transfers.
Yeah, good.
Perfect. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, take care.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Yeah.